What's up, Storm fans? Bryant Cook here, and today I have a very special deck for you. No, this is not a donation deck. This is a deck I'm playing on my own. I'm talking about BubblingTide, the Bubbling Muck High Tide combination deck, and well, this deck has been around for a long time. In fact, I even tried it when I was a kid, way back when the original Ravnica block came out and introduced Watery Grave, essentially a second copy of Underground Sea, which gave you a high enough density to play 8 Underground Seas in your deck for Bubbling Muck, which is the Black High Tide. It reads, whenever a player taps a swamp for mana, that player adds an additional black mana, and while everybody knows High Tide, which is just the same thing but adds blue mana for islands, well, this deck you get to play 8 copies. Well, we're going to play 1 High Tide on the board today, but 8 copies. So when you have this many Underground Sea effects, you get to play something wild like this deck. So this deck is essentially the core of the mono blue High Tide deck when you really look at it, but we get to play Bubbling Muck, Wishclaw Talisman, so that way we have a demonic tutor to go find whatever we need, including our win condition, Tendrils of Agony, or even peer into the abyss, which is pretty sweet. Do I think this deck is ultra competitive? Probably not. Am I going to have fun today? Definitely. And if you're interested in having fun, stick around, watch this video, and who knows, maybe we'll finish with a positive record. I certainly hope that we do. One thing to note, we are playing Python Needle on the sideboard today. This is the name Wasteland to protect our 8 Underground Sea mana base. I hope it works. In fact, I hope we 5-0. That would be insane. But stick around, let's find out, and I will see you in match number 1. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. That said, there's no better way of showing your support than becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks, and we get to keep making combo content. The perks get better and better each level you go up. They also stack. To start off, with our Storm Fan tier, you unlock our private members section of our Discord, which comes with a highlighted user profile and then some awesome badges and emotes for YouTube. Looking for sideboard help? Become a Stormtrooper, our middle tier, for 2 sideboard guides of your deck choice every single month, on top of 50% off donation decks. Did we mention you also get 10% off merchandise from our shop? With our top tier, the Combo Cabal, you get a free donation deck every single month, 15% off merchandise from our shop, early access to private deck lists, and the most valuable perk in my opinion, videos early. That's right, you heard it, early access to all videos. But maybe sweet perk, secret deck list, early access to videos isn't for you, but you'd still like to show your appreciation. Make sure to check out theepicstorm.com/shop for card singles and Storm swag. Please don't forget to use your membership discounts. Finally, if you want to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel, make sure to visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks, where all you have to do is attach your TXT file and pick a donation tier. With our Epic tier, you can even join me in a video to showcase your bold brew in person and explain the ins and outs of your strategy. Card availability won't be an issue due to our new sponsor, Card Hoarder. With Card Hoarder, renting is super easy. If you're looking to get into Magic Online, there isn't a better, more affordable solution than Card Hoarder. Fun fact, you can rent the Epic Storm for 7 tickets a week, which is just a great deal. There are many ways you can support us. Just pick whatever is best for you. In the meantime, let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the play with BubblingTide. I can't believe we're playing this today, but here we are. And I think this is definitely a key. We do want to find an additional land here, but this isn't bad. So we're going to play the Verdant Catacombs first. Pass the turn. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Land. Not land. We need to hit a land here. A Lotus Petal. Okay. This is wild. What are you playing, opponent? Well, I don't think I'm allowed to let that one resolve. Let's force that pitching meditate. I don't think I can beat this card. And we might have just lost the game. I can't beat a Narset. I have to like Cunning Wish or Echoing Truth. Not the way I wanted to start this. Narset's on the table. Another Lotus Petal, okay. Yeah, I don't know how we would ever beat Narset. One of the downsides of playing a strategy like this, I suppose. Useless force, okay. We'll take the land, I guess. Oh, I forgot I don't get to draw a card. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just going to concede in a second anyway. Alright, I think our opponent's just playing like a turbo Hull Breacher deck. Commit to memory. They added white mana. Alright, so they're just playing anti-Bryant dot deck. Alright, so this person clearly doesn't like to have fun and eats toothpaste. I don't know. Some bad joke. But yeah, they're just playing a deck that would wreck any deck that I would ever play. So I don't know what we're really supposed to do here, if I'm being honest. Like, I can board in the sideboard Fluster, I guess. Board in some Echoing Truths, maybe. Perhaps we take out Meditate. Is that too greedy? I don't know. Maybe against like this deck you don't want something as large as Pier. Maybe shave a couple copies of Wishclaw versus the Karn deck. I don't know. I guess we'll try this, and then I imagine shortly we're going to be on our way to match number 2. Cannot keep. I guess so. Bottom of Candle, and we're going to ponder looking for that second land. Underground Sea, and ponder. Cannot keep. Shuffle. Yikes, we're in trouble. Okay. Yeah, they're just like a turbo Hull Breacher Days Undoing deck. Come on. Yep. No fun. Maybe we just pass here. Okay, draw. Let's attempt a brainstorm. And if I force this, they just hermit me. So I'm going to concede. I'm glad our opponent had a great time, but we're going to go to match number 2. If you haven't joined them already, I would recommend opening up our description down below and joining our 7 social media networks. They're each great in their own way, but I would strongly suggest joining our Discord server. In there, you will find others just like you looking to improve their Storm game and grow as a combo community. If you're a member of our YouTube channel, you should sync your account to Discord to unlock our private member section that has the latest and greatest deck lists, concepts, and much, much more. Let's get back to comboing out. Okay, so we are on the draw for match 2. This hand seems reasonable enough. Let's try it. Okay, draw. Force of Will. Why, yes, that is a Watery Grave in Legacy. Thank you for noticing, opponent. Cast this ponder. So I think we want the land here. Candle isn't the worst, so I think we're okay with keeping this. Alright, so we have no reason to play out the Candle early, because there's a pretty good chance that our opponent's a Prismatic Ending deck. And let's just ponder here. I think we could shuffle these. These don't really do it. Like, we need one of our 7 tide effects, and the Cunning Wish is just too slow. So I think I'm gonna just shuffle here. And another ponder. Do I keep this? Alright. Just going to pass. Flooded Strand activation. What are you doing? Apparently nothing. Okay. I am just going to shock here and pass the turn. On their end step, we'll cast Cunning Wish for this high tide. I don't want to play Flooded Strand because I want to draw the Candelabra that's on top of our library. Yay. I have to pitch non-force here. So I think I'm supposed to pitch the Cunning Wish. If this is going to be our league, this deck is not going to do very well. Alright, the opponent has 5 cards. Draw. And another one. We have to force it. Sure. This deck is not well positioned in the meta, that's for sure. Okay. The entire time that I'm sitting here, I just can't help but think TES would be 2-0 right now. Well, maybe we would have lost the first round, but like TES eats up these decks. Like these decks can't beat the Epic Storm. And that'll do, Pig. That'll do. All right. That's disappointing. Maybe like Dress Downs. Probably one Echoing Truth for Narset. Maybe you board down on like the meditate effects in this matchup. I'm not sure. Game number 2. This seems reasonable. Play the Watery Grave and pass the turn. I probably don't want to F6. That tells them that I don't have a force. Alright, so on our turn we're going to Brainstorm Fetch. Ponder. Don't need another Spiral. Maybe we get rid of the Brainstorm, because that's not really what we're trying to do at this point in the game. Grab an Underground Sea and cast Ponder. That is very good. Let's keep this. I wonder if I'm supposed to go for it next turn. Alright, so if I tap this swamp, cast Bubbling Muck, tap this swamp for a black, I'd have 1 black floating for another Bubbling Muck. Candelabra with the 1 floating. Tap this for 3. It's a little bit fishy. Maybe it's fine. Bubbling Muck is on the stack. Play the Muck. Candle. Tap this for a blue, and let's Fluster. If they have anything else, we're going to fizzle, but it seems like a good window before Hullbreacher could come down. Let's untap these 2, okay. And now blue, blue, Time Spiral. Hi-oh! Okay. We can use the Echoing Truth to bounce our candles, which is pretty cool. Let's cast Ponder. I think we can shuffle that. That doesn't really help us much. Drew another one anyway. Play another candle. Brainstorm in response to Candelabra. We have 7 mana floating, which is exactly enough, by the way, to go Wishclaw into Tendrils. That happens. Let's play Wishclaw. And here comes the chicken tenders. Turn 3 through double force. Not good enough. BubblingTide. There we go. Let's see if we can cheese a game 3 versus the Hullbreacher control deck. Should I be boarding in this Fluster? I don't know. This is probably fine. We don't need 2 sideboard. We don't need 2 counters in the sideboard either. I don't know. Alright, I'm just gonna board out all the meditates. You can hate me in the comment section. I completely understand why. So this hand just needs to find lands. Prismatic Vista. Into Ponder. You got it. Draw. Step 1. Land number 2. Step 3, another land. Ooh, this is so good. I love it. Think we put the land on the bottom. All right, land number 2. And it looks like they're just passing. So we're going to draw Bubbling Muck, and then we have a fetch land underneath that. So there is a question on whether or not I try to play Candle here, but I'm afraid if I do, it will get hit by Prismatic Ending, and I'm not sure that I can afford that to happen. So I think instead I'm just going to pass here. Brainstorm from our opponent. Okay, no effects yet. Draw. So we could, in theory, try to win here, but they could have Hull Breach or Force up, which would be very bad for us. So I could play Bubbling Muck. Essentially do the same thing as last game, but I'd only have 1 piece of protection up. I think I'm just going to pass. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to play Hull Breacher here. There it is. Alright, I think I have to fight. Pitching Narsa, and I will fight again. Alright, they have 3 cards. 4 after the draw step. Surgical my force, sure. They chose to leave them. Days and Doing, you got it. Let's take our draw here. That was a good one. We could, in theory, try to win here. It's not a terrible idea. We don't have... Like, they're tapped out. They don't have Pyroblast or Fluster up. And the opponent just snap conceded. Terrified of the Bubbling Muck, as they should be. We are 1-1 with BubblingTide. Playing your favorite combo deck in Paper just got so much easier with the Epic Storm Mini Token Pack. You can pick one up at theepicstorm.com/shop for $13. It includes 64 double-sided mini tokens. That's 128 tokens total. And they include 10 black, 10 blue, 10 red, 5 green, 5 white, 3 colorless, 20 storm counters. That means that you can count your way all the way up to 20 for Grape Shot, everyone's favorite Stormwind condition, a Galvanic Relay Exile Indicator, 4 treasure tokens for Strike It Rich, and then 10 monk tokens for our vintage friends. It also has Slime Time Live, 8 Progenitor Ooze tokens with the power and toughness already built in to make playing in Paper so much easier. No fumbling around with dice, we've got you covered. Make sure to go grab those if you're playing Modern. And then Squirrels versus Goblins, Chatterstorm versus Empty the Warrens, the Battle of the Ages. You definitely need 20 Squirrel tokens and 20 Goblin tokens. You're going to love this mini token pack, I promise. And once again, you can grab that at theepicstorm.com/shop. Match number 3. I don't think I'm allowed to keep this hand. 5 lands is just so many. And we don't have anything else really going on. This seems reasonable, but I think you just bottom the Turnabout. Alright, Ivan Drago, what are you playing? Likely another Hull Breacher deck. Okay. Sure thing. Draw. Brainstorm is a good pickup. Let's cast this Ponder. Shovel. And Turnabout is back. It's a card we can pitch to force, so it's not the end of the world. Next turn, I'm looking to combine Brainstorm with that Pluto Delta to fix up our hand just a little bit. Volcanic Island, anything else, opponent? It looks like they're just passing the turn here. Draw. Love the Time Spiral. Let's see if we can fix this hand up with the Brainstorm. Another Bubbling Muck. We don't need that or the Meditate. I guess the other Bubbling Muck is like sort of free. So if I keep Muck next turn, I can go Muck, Turnabout, Muck into Spiral. So I just need this Ponder to pitch to force. Okay. Scalding Tarn. Brainstorm, you got it. Tundra into Ponder. They are looking for all of their forces. Did not shuffle off Ponder. Okay, let's cast this Bubbling Muck. What's the worst thing that could happen? And that resolved. Go grab Underground Sea, and let's attempt a Turnabout here. This has a pretty juicy counter target on it. Force pitching Shark Typhoon. I will attempt to force back. Brainstorm digging for force. Turnabout? Ooh. Land, untap. Tap for blue. Did I do? I must have done that incorrectly. There we go. Bubbling Muck. Blue, blue. Time Spiral. Alright, so we have a pier with force backup. I like that, so we're going to do it. Tide. Muck. Blue. Blue. 12 floating mana. Let's turn about ourselves. Land. Untap. And then peer into Disbiss. I love it. I love it so much. They're going to attempt to force. We will force back. Hard casting. Oh, they have another force. This could be it for us if this Brainstorm doesn't hit. Oh no. I've already played a land. I think I try again. Brainstorm? No! Our 7 gave them double force and our hand is trash. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I think they really messed up, by the way. They should have forced the Turnabout, but I don't know. Because in theory, like, cutting me off mana is a better choke point, but it worked out for them. I don't know if we're going to win this now. Her hand is all lands. Another Brainstorm. Okay, so we're going to fetch to get rid of one of the lands on top of our library. Grab a Watery Grave. We're looking for another Brainstorm. Honestly, I might cast that Meditate. Scalding Tarn. I'm very nervous about this because I feel like a Hull Breacher is just going to send me packing. Alright, let's cast Meditate. And a resolved. Okay, so now they get an extra turn. Unfortunately, I drew a bunch of lands off it. Ponder, sure. Okay, they're just passing. They did not shuffle off the Ponder. I'm just super flooded here. Draw. Let's still hope to draw Brainstorm, I guess. Something for 5, Shark Typhoon? Okay. So now they have a clock. We'll fall to 13. Come on, Brainstorm. We have 2 of them left. Not what we needed. Alright, pass the turn. The flood is real. This is what happens when you play more than 13 lands in your deck. Snapcaster Mage. That's a sign of confidence, in my opinion, that you think your 3 cards in hand are good enough. That's a weird sequence, but whatever makes them happy. Oh no, my bad. I misunderstood. When I looked at it, I saw Snapcaster targeting Ponder, and I was like, okay. But my eyes deceived me. Our opponent didn't do anything weird. Alright, so we're going to 8 life here. Another Brainstorm. Narset. I think we just lost. Okay, and I'm just going to hardcast this because why not? Force pitching force. All right, we're just going to go to game 2. We missed our window there. All right, so we definitely want the Fluster. And I think we just take out the Meditates again. A little bit of a liability. I guess we don't actually want anything else, so we can bring 2 Meditates back. Meditate might be better than Peer. Let's do this. On the play for game number 2. Sure. Watery Grave and pass that turn. Flooded Strand into likely a cantrip. Ponder. Draw. Another Flooded Strand. Brainstorm. A little bit awkward, but I think that it's fine enough. We do want land 4. I guess I should have boarded in an Echoing Truth. That's a mistake on my part. I just thought of that. Because Wishclaw doesn't have a way of getting rid of anything here. And because of that, I think I'm actually supposed to fetch where I was planning on redrawing the Wishclaw Talisman. Now I should just fetch it away. Alright, Watery Grave. Draw. Force is a good pickup. Pass the turn. What do you have, opponent? Alright, not an Narset, so I like that. I think the best draw on our turn is actually just a blue card to pitch to Force. Okay, take a draw. There we go. Alright, so I think we're going for it. Let's cast this Bubbling Muck. Bubbling Muck. Blue, blue. I'm actually a mana short. I thought that I was going to have enough mana to Fluster here too. Damn. That stinks. I've already committed, so let's just grab the Spiral, I guess. Getting Pyroblasted. Yeah. I thought I would have had one more. It's such a bummer. Spiral. No way, that resolved? I'm a little shocked by that. Okay. So let's add some more mana here. I'm gonna ponder looking for a High Tide. Shuffle that. That's good. Let's meditate. There's a Tide. Add some blue, play Candle. Let's untap some lands. Okay, so now let's add some more mana here. Roughly infinite mana. And let's... Actually, let's brainstorm. Let's see if I can find some protection first. There we go. Candle. We just have a deterministic win here, by the way. So, one, you could get Brain Freeze, but you run the risk of your opponent having some obscure card in their deck. Or you can Cunning Wish for Echoing Truth, bounce the Wishclaw, then Tendrils. Cunning Wish on the stack. Go get Echoing Truth, bounce the Wishclaw Talisman. Wishclaw, and then that Chicken Tenders that we all know and love. There it is. The Tendies. Storm 15. Alright, are we going to a game 3? I imagine we are. Thinking to myself here, is it easier to pay for Flusterstorm than it is to Fluster back? I mean, they could have flustered so many spells in between, and they chose to do this. Sure. I think it actually also makes more mana if I untap my artifacts. But I could be wrong. Alright, adding a bunch of mana here. Alright, roughly infinite mana in our mana pool. Yes, I will pay for your flusters. Alright, clicking through. Yeah, nice Fluster Storm. Essentially just a spell pierce. What are you doing over there? Come on. Even if you have another Fluster, I can keep on paying. Alright, they got the message. We're going to game 3. Woot woot. Can't believe all they had up was the Pyroblast at the time. I think we just hit submit. Not an easy matchup spread so far. I want to keep this, we're not allowed to. Without having land drops, this hand is just so clunky. This hand's pretty good. I think you bottom the High Tide here, which seems strange, but it makes their land stat for 2 as well. And the Cunning Wish is actually just protection when you have Pact of Negation in the board, so I think that makes sense to me at least. Draw. I did not want the Tenders this early. Alright, and the opponent's passing back. Draw. I want them to think that I have something, so I'm going to shock here. And the opponent's just passing without making a land drop. Draw. Okay, pass the turn. On their end step, I think I'm going to cast the Cunning Wish for Pact of Negation. Alright, play Wish. That resolves. We'll go get our Pact. Draw. Force was a good one. Let's just pass the turn here. No need to rush it. They hit land 3. So they do have Hull Breacher live now. We could get into a sort of position where we try to just Tendrils them from hand for lethal. Activating Flooded Strand. Scalding Tarn. Ooh, I don't like this. This usually means like Narset. Yep. So they most definitely have a force here. So it's tough because if I pitch, I can't... I have to pitch Spiral. But maybe that's the best thing anyway. Because the Spiral becomes dead with the Narset. So I guess we just do this. Which is Days in Doing. Well, I have to let that resolve now. I don't know how I win. Force a negation, sure. Yeah, I think we're done. Draw. Another Muck. This is only Storm 6. It's just not good enough. Even if they force and I pacted, that'd be exactly 8. They'd have to pact a Bubbling Muck here. I don't think they go for it. I don't think it's going to get any better. Let's try to get them on it. Please try to force. They did not. Okay, so let's try playing Candle. Alright, they're forcing. That's good. Pact. The other Bubbling Muck in hand doesn't matter, so if you were wondering why I didn't cast this sooner, it's because it just doesn't matter. Come on, force it again. Bubbling Muck. Did I miscount? I must have miscounted. I am just dead. I can't win. For some reason, I counted 8 in my head. We're just short on mana. I'm dead. This is not lethal. Yeah, I don't know why. And it made sense. Like, I had 6 cards in hand. I knew that they had force. But for some reason, I was like, yeah, that's 8. I'm an idiot. I can't count. They had another force and a fluster. All right, so we were just never winning. All right, 1 and 2. Wump wump. Hey, you're still watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you're looking to make a purchase from Card Hoarder, TCG Player, or Amazon and are looking to support us, you can open up our description down below, and in there you will find our affiliate links. Those same links are found on the homepage of the Epic Storm. But that's not all. We've included a Card Hoarder button on our website that will load the Epic Storm in your Card Hoarder cart to make life simple for you. Match number 4, and we are on the play. Let's see if we can break even here. I'd like a win. This is not good enough, I don't think. Like, you're just relying way too much on Brainstorm. And this is essentially the same hand. I think we're going to 5. Alright. I'll be honest. With the name Storm 44, I'm pretty hard-pressed to put back Force of Will. So I think we just put back the lands and the Bubbling Muck. Marsh Flats. Maybe they'll think I'm Reanimator and run into my Force of Will. Their own copy of Marsh Flats. Okay, it's a mirror match. Activating the Marsh Flats. Looks like they're just red-black Reanimator. Yeah, you can have a looting. So they discarded Reanimate, Animate Dead, so they don't have a creature. Spiral is a very good pickup. We're just going to play Watery Grave untapped and pass the turn, looking to Brainstorm fetch. And another looting. Dark Ritual Badlands. Still no creature. Good grief. I think I just let this resolve. Do I actually? No, I'm gonna Brainstorm. Alright, let's hide these and then pass the turn. One has 2 cards left in hand. They took a Wishclaw, okay. I think I'm fine with that. Are we going to see Reanimate on Grief? I think so. And Grief is coming back. And they left Meditate, okay. I don't think I want to shuffle away the Time Spiral in order to cast Meditate. So I'm going to play it tapped, and then next turn I can cast Meditate on their end step. We're going to follow the 15 life here. Draw and pass the turn. One has 3 cards in hand. Grief doing damage. We're falling to 12. Alright, they're passing, so I'm going to go get an Underground Sea and then cast this Meditate, giving our opponent an extra turn, but we get to draw 4. Still no Tide effect. Another looting. Chancellor and Gristlebrand. Reanimate on Chancellor. I am going to force that. Pitching the Ponder. I know that Ponder can help us find another Tide effect, but I think pitching the other force is just a little too risky. And we're falling to 7. Draw. Not looking good. Alright, let's play Candle. Pass the turn. Now I have to pitch the Spiral. Ugh. This is not good. So that means I'm just dead to the Grief next turn. Maybe I'm supposed to let the Chancellor in play and just pray to spike a High Tide. I think that's honestly just a better play here. Because if I spike High Tide, I can beat Chancellor. Or a Bubbling Muck. Alright, come on, deck. We have 6 hits. That is not one of them. Alright, so we lost a Reanimator in game number 1. We do have triple Surgical on our board. And this Fluster. So I think we want to take out Pier. It's just a little too large. We could probably take out Wishclaws, shave on those, and like 1 Meditate maybe? Let's try this out. You could board in something like Echoing Truth, but I think it's not the right kind of reactive spell. Like, yes, it can answer a Chancellor, but if they've already got Chancellor, you did something wrong anyway. Like, the game's already not going well. So, and it doesn't answer, what is it called? Iona or Seer's Emissary. Like, I just don't think it's that good here. Like, it's only good against Chancellor, and you can beat Chancellor with your High Tide effects. Alright, game 2. On the play. Think we keep this. Have to protect the Surgical with the Brainstorm. Ouch. That's the turn. Buy you into Xanid Swarm. Yeah, nothing I can do really about that. Okay, so let's take our draw. Another Brainstorm. Cast it. Let's see if we can fix this up. Don't think we want the wishes. Ponder. That's actually pretty good. I think we put Spiral on the bottom. Alright, so we are covered in bees. And they just passed. Okay, so now we're drawing the High Tide. Why would you cast this in my upkeep? After you attacked with the Xanid Sword? That doesn't make any sense. Arcana of Cruelty? Okay. So we can go High Tide, Bubbling Muck, Floating 1, and then this would tap for 3, but that doesn't get me to the point where I can cast the Spiral on top. I think I just pass here. Alright, let's Surgical Arcana Cruelty. And their hand is nothing. Oh no, they have Entomb Animate Dead, so they're mana short of doing something here. I guess I can cast this Brainstorm. That looks pretty good. Alright, covered in bees. And another copy of Entomb. Getting Gristlebrand, not surprised by that. Draw the other Bubbling Muck on top of our library. Alright, so let's fetch. Alright, so the first land can be for Bubbling Muck. Tap this for blue, so that way we get both colors. Bubbling Muck, High Tide. Now each of these lands taps for 4. Candle. And target some lands. Okay. Had a whole bunch of mana. And another Spiral. Let's cast the Brainstorm. Go back 2 lands. Muck, Muck, Tide, Ponder, Shuffle, Brainstorm. Let's put back 1 Tide in the Surgical and then Ponder, Shuffle. Yeah, Shuffle. Another Tide. Alright, so we have roughly infinite mana. We'll just do land here, it's fine. You could do artifacts for more mana, but I just don't need that much mana. Wishclaw. Another Time Spiral, okay. High Tide, Bubbling Muck. I wonder if I should surgical my like bubbling mucks to increase my potential to win off my tide. Or off my spiral, I mean. Okay, and then let's spiral again. It's from 20. And this should do it. Brainstorm. Cunning Wish. Yes. Let's grab Brain Freeze. We're going to target ourselves with the original and then target them with the rest. So this way, after we deck them, we can cast Brainstorm looking for Wishclaw, and they just conceded. All right, so that was fun. A whole lot of mana floating, but now we have to win game number 3 on the draw against Reanimator. Even though we saw Xanad's Form, I don't think you're supposed to board in Echoing Truth. You could argue maybe Dress Down, but I don't know if that's actually any good. So I'm just going to resubmit. Seems like a magic hand. Let's try it. Okay, game 3. No Chancellor reveal. Bloodstained Mire. What do you have? Unmasked targeting themselves, removing a Gristlebrand. The all-in play. Alright, and then we're just going to force the Exhume. See if we can ponder into Surgical now. That'd be nice. Draw. Ponder. I think I'm supposed to shuffle that. Yikes. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. You don't have it. Okay, land 2. So not Reanimate. Although drawing land number 2 does open up their possibilities here. Play Candle and pass the turn. Land 3. Alright. So not a Reanimate effect. We're really just looking for Time Spiral here. Unfortunately, flooding out a little bit. Okay. And they're passing, I like that. They could have gotten by you there and chose not to. So if they drew like a Xanad's Form or something, they can't cast it. Draw. So now we can cast Force of Will, that's good. 2 mana. Animate Dead. I will attempt to cast Force, targeting Animate Dead. Okay, I'm just going to continue pulling lands out of our deck so that way I increase my odds of drawing hits. Draw. Killing me, Smalls. They drew another. Unfortunate. Yep. And they're going to 4. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. And a third. Joke's on you, I don't have anything. Dark Ritual. Entomb. Yeah, we're just dead here. Archon of Cruelty, so now they go up to 7. And the key factor here is that we are discarding Verdant, which means even if I rip Time Spiral, I don't have an out. So this was actually a pretty crucial play. Xanad's Form, sure. We're just so dead. I don't think I guess in theory I could draw Meditate. Okay, that's the out. I draw Meditate into the nuts. Here we go. Feels bad. Feels bad. Ugh. Damn. Archon too strong. Okay, we're now 1-3. If you're looking for more great Magic the Gathering content, definitely check out the Eternal Glory podcast. It is myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We primarily discuss Legacy. That said, a lot of what we talk about transcends all formats. We're available on all major podcast platforms. All right, welcome back to the fifth and final match. We are on the play. Let's get it. This seems reasonable. We'll try this. Okay, let's cast Ponder. I think this is probably fine. Pass the turn. Underground Sea into Ponder. Did not shuffle, okay. Draw. Alright, so we knew that Brainstorm was there. We're going to just play Verdant here and pass. So one of the nice things here is that we do look like the Epic Storm. So if our opponent happens to be on like Ant or Doomsday, we can surprise them with the Force of Will. A Verdant Catacombs, okay. Are we playing the Mirror? We are playing the Mirror. That's the Lion's Eye Diamond. Well, I guess it's not the Mirror. We were facing the Epic Storm, I'm sorry. We were not playing the Mirror match. Me, Bryant Cook. I am the Epic Storm, so that's what I meant by Mirror. That's all a bad joke. But yeah, we're facing the Epic Storm here. That's a Wishclaw. Interesting. It looks like they didn't sacrifice the Lion's Eye Diamond. Strange. They're playing the Orm's Chant build, or is this just Burning Wish? Just Burning Wish. I think our opponent messed up a little bit. They meant to ad nauseum and then just didn't. So we're going to force this Echo and send our opponent packing. Okay, so they have no cards. Brainstorm, let's get rid of a couple claws. So it is pretty hard for our deck to beat a Resolve Veil of Summer, so the fact that our opponent has no hand is fairly good. Let's play Claw and Ponder. I think I'm going to shuffle this. Pass the turn. So I don't really want to spiral because I don't want to let them draw into another Veil. Let's cast Brainstorm, see what I can find. Awkward. Put these on top, I guess. I think I might meditate and just draw 4. Alright, the opponent's on 2 cards. I'm going to cast a meditate here, so they will take an extra turn and I will draw 4. Draw. There's a land. I'm just going to pass again. In theory, I could try to win here, but why? Like, I just don't see the need. Opponent's up to 4 cards in hand now. And they're passing. Let's fetch Underground Sea and cast another meditate. Boom, look at all this. Alright, I think we could probably try to win on our turn. We're just going to use the Wish Claws for high tide effects. Alright, let's go to 14. Use the Claw. Bubbling Muck. Let's cast the Muck. Use Claw, we'll go get High Tide. Okay. Bunch of mana. Candle. And we will untap all of our lands. Take 6 mana. But it'll be well worth it because we just have... we'll generate a bunch of mana. Okay. Play Candle. And another Candle. Untap. Okay, now we make a whole bunch more mana. And we're going to use Wishclaw and Peer into the Abyss for Storm. Because I don't really want to shuffle my hand back in when I have a way of beating Veil of Summer already. Okay, so now we're going to use Wishclaw. 31 cards left in our library. Let's go get Peer into the Abyss. Cast Peer. Look at that. Storm is 7. Let's tap our opponent's lands. Land, tap. Play another candle, why not? And then Storm 10, Tendrils of Agony. Boom! That's what you get for trying to be sneaky and thinking that you were going to crush me turn 2 in the mirror. So I think we probably want Needles to name... I guess I can't name Wishclaw. We're a Wishclaw deck ourselves. That's awkward. So I guess we're not boarding a Needle. I think that might be it. And I'm not allowed to board out a win condition. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do here. Maybe board out a Bubbling Muck? That can't be right. What if, instead, I board out my Claws and I board a Needles? I don't think I hate that. Let's try this out. It's a Hand of Magic the Gathering cards. Keep. Alright, our opponent's kept 6. And we just have to get the next one. Tropical Island into Ponder. It's worth noting our opponent likely sided in Carpet of Flowers against us, so we don't want to crack the delta before we really need to. There's a reason they went and got Tropical Island. Draw. Another force, not going to complain about that. Badlands, okay. Sure. I'm not going to force that. I could, I'm not going to. Draw. Just going to play it tapped, it's fine. Brainstorm, okay. No fetch land into Taiga. And I think I will force this Claw because right now I'm stuck in a weird spot where if I don't draw a land next turn I have to discard. And I'm not really interested in doing that. Draw. Ponder, okay. I have to shuffle those. Will not complain about another force. Ugh, look at that swamp. Disgusting. That swamp's originally from Tempest, and they chose to play that white bordered 8th edition swamp. They just went and hurt my feelings. Look at that thing. Or is it from Mirage? It might be from Mirage, actually. The opponent's just going for it. Ad nauseum with Veil backup? Nice. Alright, so we're going to force pitching Spiral. And Fluster. Okay, so they should both be countered. And we just need to draw land 3. There we go. Now I can meditate on their end step again. And our opponent conceded. Well, how about that? So this deck was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm sort of bummed that in order to get 50 play points back, we had to beat the Epic Storm. That was not cool. I didn't love that. I don't know how good this deck is, if I'm being completely honest. In fact, I think that this deck suffers the same weaknesses as the mono blue High Tide deck does, where you're just such a dog to Hull Breacher Narset decks. And if you want to beat those decks, it really needs Mystical Dispute in the board. Had I known I was going to face a bunch of those decks, obviously I would have put those in. But I built the sideboard for a more well-rounded metagame, and here we are. And that's sort of why the Epic Storm is built right now, to beat all those blue decks, because what we face today in the league is what the challenges look like, where it's a lot of blue control decks, Reanimator, Storm combo like the Epic Storm. So this deck, you know, it's a fun, you know, trip down memory lane. I don't know if I say that I could recommend this for a competitive metagame, but it might be great for a random weekly at your local game store. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Keep storming and have a terrific day. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.